Hey, hi, hello, everyone. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, welcome to Mind Yantra Solutions. In this session, we'll try to discuss about what is an application, what are the different types of applications are available, and how these applications are affecting the software industry. Right? So, let's begin the show. First of all, a quick question to you guys. What is an application? Okay, if you have the answer, just put it in the comment and let's get continued. So an application is a software that helps the user to perform a specific task and also reduce the manual effort. For example, in older days, if you want to communicate with any of your friend, so how we used to do that? So either you have to write a letter and send it to the receiver and they will check it out and they will reply back. Correct? But in the current situation, it is very, very difficult to wait that much of time. It may take a week, correct? So to avoid that, the people have invented Gmail. It's an application. What it will do? Simply write an email, communicate with the other person. He will be receiving in fraction of seconds and he will reply back to you. Okay, the whole transaction may not take much time. And also we have WhatsApp, Facebook. So to make the communication little faster and much easier, right? And also if you want to order food online, there are multiple applications called Swiggy, Zomato. Okay, all these applications are used to help the users to perform a specific task. So in other words, we can say these are simply reducing the manual effort. Correct? So in simple words, an application is a tool that is used to reduce the human effort. Okay. So now let's talk about what are the types of applications are available in the market. Okay. So these applications in especially in IT industry are categorized into three types. They are web applications. So for example, we have Facebook, Google. So web applications in the sense we can use it with the help of internet. Okay, so for example, we have Facebook, Google, Gmail, etc. And the second applications are called desktop applications. So these applications can be accessed to any of the desktop without internet. For example, MS Office, music players, etc. And the third category what we have is mobile applications. And this can be used on any Android devices or iPhone devices. Okay, so now let's talk about component of an application, right? What are the components are available inside an application, how they will communicate with each other, right? So an application consists of three major components. So they are front-end, back-end, and database. So in next slides, we'll discuss about what is meant by front-end, what is meant by back-end, and what is meant by database. Okay, so let me give you a quick overview what is meant by front-end. A front-end is nothing but a medium where the customer or user will interact with the application. Okay, and this is also known as user interface. That will be the entry point for your web application. Okay, and backend is nothing but where your APIs are available and your programming language coding is available and where you have built up the frameworks. So these components are mixed together and known it as backend. Okay, and we have database. So as everybody knows, database is a warehouse or like a medium where we can store the data like the user information, customer information, product information. So all these things will go into the medium called database. Okay, so let's talk how these three components will communicate with each other. Okay, so in the current slide, we will be discussing about how the application architecture looks like. Okay, so all these categories I'm just listing out here. So user will connect with the application through front end, and this front end will be trying to get the data from a database, right? So as we already know, front end and back end are different technologies, right? We need a mediator to communicate in between. Okay, so for that purpose, we will be using programming language. actually which contains all the APIs, programming language, and logical statements here. Okay, and so front end will make a request to programming language, and programming language will connect with the database and get the required data from it, and then it will send back to the programming language. And programming language having piece of code that use it to perform a specific operation with the help of the data, and the result will be sent back to the front end. So this is how the complete application architecture looks like. Okay, so now let's talk about what kind of tools we can use to build these kind of components like front end, back end, and programming language. Okay, so now to create a front end, we have different tools like HTML, hypertext markup language, CSS, JavaScript, Ajax, React.js. Okay, and when it comes to the programming language, the oldest programming languages we have like COBOL, Pascal. Later on, they have introduced C, and then C++ with the OOP supports. And now Java, we have C#, .NET, we have Python, PHP. So these are some examples for the programming languages. And let's see what some tools that are used to create a database like SQL. We need to call it as SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQLite, MongoDB, and Cassandra. Okay, this is a complete application architecture looks like. So it's a short video. I would like to create a short videos for your convenience. So if you have any questions or anything is missing, you can put it in the comment. And I hope you all people will support me a lot. And moving forward, we will also release the same videos in Telugu language also. So to make it better understandable for the people who are living in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Okay, so we'll stop at this point and we'll meet in the next session. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, put it in the comment. I will try to respond you as soon as possible. Thank you. Signing off.